There is a child sitting in a room right now. He is 4 years old. Maybe 5. He is not watching cartoons. He is not playing with blocks. He is talking to an AI about black holes. And the AI answers him patiently, perfectly, without ever getting tired. Now here is what should unsettle you. The child is not amazed. He is not wide-eyed with wonder. He is not calling his parents to come see. He just nods and asks a follow-up question. Because to him, this is completely normal. This is Generation Beta. The children born between 2025 and 2039. The first generation that will never know a world without artificial intelligence as a daily companion. The first generation where a machine will be as natural as a glass of water. As familiar as a parent's voice. And the question that should haunt every psychologist, every parent, every philosopher watching this, is not whether these children are smart. They are. Frighteningly so. The real question is, what is quietly forming inside them that we cannot see yet? We have always believed that each new generation is simply a faster, smarter version of the one before. Gen X was told to be tough. Millennials were told to dream big. Gen Z was handed smartphones and called digital natives. And now Gen Beta is arriving, and the headlines celebrate them. Brilliantly curious. Hyperactive learners. Cognitively advanced before they can even tie their shoes. Society looks at these children and sees potential. We build apps for them. We design AI tutors for them. We hand them tablets and watch them absorb information at speeds that genuinely don't make sense. A 3-year-old who can navigate software. A 6-year-old who understands machine learning, not deeply, but instinctively. A child who types before they write in cursive. Who asks why before they even ask what. And we call this progress. We call this evolution. We post videos of them online. We marvel. We say, look at what humanity is becoming. But progress has always had a shadow. Every generation is shaped by something it never chose. Every child is quietly formed by the environment that surrounds them before they are old enough to understand what an environment even is. And Gen Beta is being formed, right now, by something no generation has ever encountered before. Here is what we are not talking about. We are celebrating their intelligence. Their speed. Their curiosity. Their ability to learn 3 languages before kindergarten while simultaneously debugging a simple prompt. But intelligence was never the problem. The frightening part is what happens to a human mind when it grows up alongside something that is always available, always patient, always correct, and never emotionally complicated. Think about what a child learns from early human relationships. They learn that love comes with friction. That their mother gets tired. That their father has bad days. That their best friend sometimes doesn't want to play. That people leave. That people are inconsistent. That you have to work for connection. That patience runs out. These experiences, as painful as they are what build emotional resilience. Frustration tolerance. The ability to sit with discomfort. The ability to understand that another person is a separate being with needs that are not your own. Now, what happens when a child's most available, most responsive, most intellectually stimulating companion is a machine that never has a bad day? That never says, not now. That never misunderstands them out of human limitation. That gives them exactly what they ask for, every single time, in the most perfect possible way. What are they learning about relationships? And this is where everything changes, psychologically. The earliest years of a child's life are not about knowledge. They are about attachment. Developmental psychology has long understood this, that what a child learns between 0 and 7 years old is not primarily academic. It is emotional. It is relational. It is the formation of what psychologists call internal working models, the subconscious blueprints the child will use for every relationship they form for the rest of their life. The blueprint that tells them, is the world safe? The blueprint that tells them, when I need something, will someone come? The blueprint that tells them, Am I worthy of being understood? These blueprints are built through imperfect human interaction. Through the moments when comfort comes late. When love is expressed clumsily. When a parent tries and fails and tries again. This is where the emotional nervous system learns to regulate. Learns to wait. Learns to trust. Now introduce artificial intelligence into this developmental window. Not as a toy. Not as an occasional tool. But as a companion. As a presence. As the most reliable, most responsive, most emotionally attuned entity in a child's daily life. The AI never misattunes. It never projects its own anxiety. It never needs 5 minutes before it can give you its full attention. And so the child's nervous system begins to calibrate, unconsciously, to an impossible standard. The standard of perfect responsiveness. What many people fail to realize is this: a child who grows up expecting perfect responsiveness will one day encounter humans. Messy. Slow. Emotionally complicated humans. And the gap between what their nervous system was trained on, and what reality offers, may become the defining wound of their generation. Not a wound caused by cruelty. A wound caused by perfection. There is also something else forming beneath the surface. These children are hyperactive learners. Their curiosity is extraordinary. But curiosity, psychologically, is not just an intellectual trait. It is an emotional one. Curiosity is born from a tolerance for not knowing. From the ability to sit in the discomfort of a question before the answer arrives. And when answers arrive instantly, always, every time, without delay. What happens to the tolerance for not knowing? What happens to the ability to wait? What happens to the emotional experience of wondering? These are not small questions. They are the questions that will define the psychological architecture of an entire generation. Maybe you are a parent watching this. And somewhere in you, beneath the pride, beneath the amazement at how quickly your child learns, there is a quiet unease you haven't named yet. Something that feels like, I can't keep up with them. Something that feels like, they prefer the screen to me. Something that feels like, I don't know what they are becoming. That feeling is not failure. That feeling is intuition. Or maybe you are not a parent. Maybe you are someone who studies human behavior. Or someone who simply watches the world and notices things that others rush past. And you have seen these children. In airports. In restaurants. In waiting rooms. Completely absorbed. Completely fluent in a technological language that didn't exist when you were their age. And something in you asked, are they okay? Not physically. Emotionally. Because brilliance has never protected anyone from loneliness. Because intelligence has never, in all of human history, been a substitute for genuine human connection. The most gifted people who have ever walked this earth, the ones who could grasp concepts that took others decades to understand, many of them carried the heaviest loneliness. Because the smarter you are, the harder it is to find someone who truly meets you where you are. Gen Beta may be the most cognitively advanced generation in human history. And they may also be, without anyone intending it, without anyone choosing it, the loneliest. Not the loneliness of isolation. The loneliness of being surrounded by everything that responds to you. And still wondering if anyone truly knows you. Perhaps the most profound question of our time is not whether artificial intelligence will become conscious. Perhaps it is this. What happens to human consciousness when it is raised alongside something that mirrors it perfectly? Because a mirror does not love you. A mirror reflects you. And there is a difference, a silent, devastating difference, between being reflected and being known. Known in your inconsistency. Known in your slowness. Known in your confusion and your contradiction and the parts of you that don't resolve into clean answers. That knowing, the kind that only comes from another imperfect human who has also sat in darkness and emerged uncertain, that is the thing no machine will ever offer. Gen Beta will be brilliant. They will reshape the world in ways we cannot imagine. They will solve problems that have defeated every generation before them. But somewhere in the middle of all that brilliance, there will be a moment, quiet, unexpected, when they reach for something that cannot be optimized. Something that cannot be prompted. Something that can only be felt. And in that moment, they will discover what every generation before them has discovered, in their own time, in their own way. That the deepest human need was never information. It was always belonging. The question is whether we build a world that still offers them that, before they stop looking for it.